Nagtapos ng political science degree sa De La Salle University. Mula sumabak sa politika noong 2001 bilang alkalde ng San Juan at tumagal ito ng 3 termino. Kasunod nito'y nakalalaman bilang kinakawan ng Luzon noong 2010. Sumabak sa National Post noong 2013 at naging senador sa 15th Congress kung saan napabilang siya sa top 15 most outstanding congressman at kinilala bilang isa sa most prolific lawmakers. Ilan nga sa mga batas na kanyang sinulong sa Senado ay ang Free Medicine for Poor Act at ang Batas Kasambahay at ang Insurance Safety in Motor Vehicles Act. Muling tumakbo Senador noong 2019, ngunit hindi pinalan pero ngayong halalan, muling susubok lumaban mula sa Nationalist People's Coalition. Tumatakbo sa Senado, Joseph Victor, J.V. Ejercito. Nagtapos ng political science at ng English degree sa University of Bacaceres at nabuga siya sa University of the Philippines. Nakilalang batikang defense lawyer ng ilang malalaking kaso sa bansa, kasama na ang 2009 Maguindanao Massacre case at ang 2013 PNP scams. 2016 naman ng gawing Chief Presidential Legal Counsel ni Pangulo Rodrigo Duterte at tagapagsalita ng Pangulo 2018. Ang ngayong eleksyon, sasabak sa National Post bilang senador. Tumatakbong kandidato mula sa ruling party Pilipinas, Attorney Salvador Salvador. Ating sundalo, mambabatas at kaligid, tumanggap ng iba't ibang natatanging pagkilala bilang sundalo ng bayan. Pumasok sa politika noong 1995 matapos manal bilang senador kung saan tumagal ito ng 4 na termino sa pamumukulan. Iba't ibang mga batas ang pinanday sa Senado para sa pangangalaga ng kalikasan, pagpapatibay ng sandatang lakas at marami pang iba. Sumabak noong halalan 2016 bilang vice-presidente pero di ko ito manalo. Itinalaga naman ni Pangulo Rodrigo Duterte bilang kalihim ng Department of Information and Communications Technology noong 2018. At ngayong halalan, tumatakbong senador bilang independent candidate Gregorio Gringo Onasa. Isang abogado, pinuno ang batas. Unang sumabak sa Kongreso noong 13th Congress at ngayon nasa ikalimang termino na sa pagsusunod ng mga batas para sa mahihirap. Isa na rito ang Magna Carta of the Poor. Mas nakilala ng sambayanang Pilipino bilang matapang na lumaban sa oligarkiya, partikular na may pasara ang ABS-CBN dahil sa problema nito sa prangkisa matapos ang halos 10 taong pagpapanday ng mga batas para sa mga Pilipino. Tumatakbong senador, ginagawa ng Sagip Portales, Attorney Rotante Marguleta.
Nasa inyong harapan ang senatorial candidates na haharap ngayong gabi sa taong bayan.
We would like to request everybody to please stand for the opening prayer to be led by Franco Baranda and remain standing for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem to be led by Miss Geneva Cruz.
Let us all pray. Almighty Father, once again we are thankful for the second part of senatorial debate that will give another chance for the Filipino to see the vision of the senatorial candidates for the good of our people and country. We all participants who are here tonight once again build respect for one another, broaden our thinking, and enlighten our thoughts, discussions, and ideas as we seek to work together for nation building. Bless the organizers, panelists, the participants, and everyone for their cooperation and unity in making this event astonishing once more for everyone to see. Bless everyone who's present, as well as those joining us through TV and on live stream, that this event will become a blessing to all the Filipino people. All this we ask in your mighty name. Amen.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ang
Sinaganon. Namiss ko mag-attend ng ganyan sa school. Tuyang kanyang magiting.
Di ka pasisiil sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa
Langit mo
may bilang pagtula at awit sa paghayang minamahal. Ang isang iyong tawag mo'y tagumpay na nagnining. Ang bituin at araw na kailan pang ay di magdidilim. Lupa ng alak ng luwal, ating pagsinta, langit sa piling mo. Ang ligaya lang may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Wow, galing niya. Galing niya, Geneva.
Maraming salamat, Ms. Geneva Cruz. At this point in time, maaari na pong pumunta ang ating mga kandidato sa kanilang mga podium. Samantala, malugod ko naman ipinakikilala ang ating debate moderator para sa gabi nito. Isang batikang television host at broadcaster, author at entrepreneur, Ms. Daphne Osania Baez.
Thank you, Troy and Angel. Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to be part of tonight's SMNI Senatorial Debate 2022. Last night was really an excellent night of intellectual discourse between our senatorial candidates who'd like to win the hearts of the Filipino people for this coming 2022 national elections.
Yes, baka marami sila ngayon.
We're looking forward to
Kahapon parang 11 lang sila. Ngayon parang ang dami na nila.
of senatorial candidates who have accepted the challenge of SMNI. Before we begin, let me tell you the mechanics of the debate. Basically, we have the same rules of what we had last night. We'll still have 3 rounds. The first and third rounds will be debate questions coming from our panelists, while the second round will be questions from some of our SMNI anchors and correspondents around the world or from a particular sector. All candidates will be given 60 seconds to answer each question. For our interpolation and rebuttals, we will have the same amount of time. All will be given 30 seconds. Now, if you're wondering why we made the interpolation shorter from 45 seconds, we now made it 30 seconds because we really have to limit our time. As you know, what happened last night, we almost went past 4 hours. So we now made it cut it short. So again, we have 30 seconds for interpolations and rebuttals. Meanwhile, if you hear this sound, it means you only have 10 seconds left to answer. Meanwhile, this sound cues your time is up. Again, for the knowledge of everybody, our senatorial candidates here are wearing an ear monitor so they can hear our panelists' questions better. Also, notepads and pens are provided by our organizers, so if our candidates wish to jot down their ideas while the debate's ongoing, it's okay. The audience are reminded to observe silence at all times. No boos, no shouting, no heckling. The Okada management and the organizers have the right to compel any violator of these rules to leave the vicinity. Let Rolex Suplico. Next, we have political scientist Ana Malindog Uy. And the Manila Times' chairman, CEO, Dante Clint and II. Ladies and gentlemen, our expert panelists for tonight's senatorial debate. Don't go away, SMNI Senatorial Debate 2022. We'll be back.
Gabay para sa tamang pagpili ngayong eleksyon, ating namin sa inyo itong mga leksyon.
Sino ang dapat na magpatuloy sa pagbabagong natin nila? Sino ang dapat na mailutlo sa kapangyarihan?
Dapat may paninindigang ipagpatuloy ang laban kontra intorhensya at iligal na droga.
Matapang, ngunit may puso, may malasakit, handang magpatawad, tagapagtaguyod ng kapayapaan at pagkakaisa. Handang isakripiso ang meron siya, mapunan lang ang kakulangan ng iba. Ang pulso ng taong bayan, nasa sa kanya.
Mautang, maliskarte at alam ang sandaw ng batas. May konkretong solusyon sa bawat problema, lalo na sa gitna ng krisis at pandemya.
Kilalanin mo ang iyong iboboto. Aralin ang plataforma. Paano ito isa sa katuparan at patatagalin? Surihin ang track record. Sawa na tayo sa puro forma at salita. Ang kailangan natin ang magpapatuloy sa pagbabagong natatamasa ng sambayan ng Pilipino.
May malakas na paninindigan sa tama, hindi magtataksil sa bayan at hindi tayo ipagpapalit sa kahit anuman.
Matapat at hindi magnanakaw, hindi sarili, kundi ang interes ng bayan ang inuunan.
May political will, totoo ang serbisyo at handang ibigay ang lahat. Matutunan lamang ang mga isyu na kinakaharap at nakakatuwa ng bansa. Bilang butante, nasa atin ang responsibilidad na ihandal ang nararapat. Isa'y logisyon para sa nararating kung kaya pag-isip ang mabuti.
Huwag mo kaya sa kasikatan at sa isabi. Ikaw mismo ang kumilatis. Tandaan, nakasalalay sa desisyon mo ang magiging kinabukasan ng bansa. Kaya, maging matalino. Maliban sa totoo, dapat may karanasan at kapasidad na mamulo. Hindi ka mabibili, kaya huwag kang magpapabayad. Biglang dangal ang iyong boto.
Katuwang niyo ang SMNI sa isang malinis at patas na eleksyon. Dahil dito, siguradong balik ang totoo.
Ibibigay namin sa inyo mga impormasyong tama. Tuloy ang pagbabago kahit sa pagbabalita.
Sama-sama po tayo tungo sa bagong bansa. Piliin ang magpapatuloy sa mga programang nasimulan ng administrasyon.
Nagbabalik ang SMNI Senatorial Debate 2022. Before we continue, before we begin, I would like to remind our participants that we would like to encourage an intelligent discourse tonight. We ask that you please refrain from engaging in personal attacks. Our time is precious, and I'm sure your time is as well. So let's use it to discuss issues. Should the organizers find that you are straying away from the issue and you're engaging in personal attacks, their microphones will be silenced. On that note, let us continue. Umpisahan na natin ang debate ito. Magbibigay muna ang ating senatorial candidates ng kanilang opening statement. For the opening statements, candidates must answer the questions in 90 seconds. What do you think is the most pressing issue in the country that the Senate must address? We starting with Mr. Ding Diaz.
Good evening, everyone. The most pressing issue that the Senate must address is this total economic emancipation. This means the Senate must honor the people and the government in being able to defeat poverty, which is actually the very reason and I believe it is also the reason why there is so much corruption. This is the reason why there is so much crime. This is the main reason why we're having a drug problem at the moment. And this is the very reason kung bakit nawala na po yata ng kakayahan na mangarap ang karaniwang mga Pilipino. What I'm trying to say here is this. Ako po ay hindi tumitigil sa paniniwala na ang Pilipino, ang karaniwang Pilipino ay mayroong kakayahan umangat sa kanyang pamumuhay. Ang kailangan po lamang natin ay ang mga namumuno sa pamahalaan, maging ito'y nasyonal at lokal, na mabigyan ng tamang pagkakataon, suporta. Hindi po kailangan ng mga karaniwang Pilipino ang ayuda. Ang kailangan po nila ay maramdaman nila na ang pamahalaan at ang mga namumuno ay nasa likod nila at sila mismo ang gagawa ng paraan upang umangat sa pamumuhay. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. Next we have Yusef Asrapimentel.
Pahayag na naman sa inyo magandang gabi sa inyo lahat. Naniniwala po ako ng apat na bagay na kailangang unahin ng Senado. Unang-una, ang kapakanan ng ating mga OFW. We call them the modern day heroes, and yet they do not really feel that they are treated as one. Ang ating mga OFW ay wala pong pension plan. Ang ating mga OFW ay walang madaliang access to decent housing. Ang ating mga OFW ay walang manilang discount benefits. Ang ating mga OFW ay nangangailangan ng mas marami pang programa para sa edukasyon ng kanilang mga anak. Pangalawa ko, ang ating turismo. The Philippines is a very beautiful country, and yet we do not have a roadmap of our tourism industry. Tourism will bring jobs to our people. Federalismo, kailangan na pong baguhin ang ating konstitusyon dahil dapat lamang na may bigay sa ating lokal na mga pamahalaan at sa ating mga taong bayan ang tunay na kapangyarihan. At pang-apat po, siyempre, dahil ako ay isang katutubo na mula sa ikaunang Natalaan Tribe, bigyan ng crime, opportunity, and welfare ng ating mga IPs at lalo-lalo na ang kababaihan at kabataan ng Mindanao dahil 35 years ago pa lang po nagkaroon ng babaeng senador.
Thank you, Yusef Pimentel. Next we have Secretary Manny Piñon.
Magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat. Before I left my position as Chairman of the Mindanao Development Authority, we asked the United Nations Development Program to conduct a study. Paano naka-apekto ang COVID-19 sa pamumuhay ng ating mga tao? And three issues here: food, jobs, health. Pagkain. Nakita natin na dahil sa COVID-19, the global food supply chain was disrupted. The lesson? We should produce our own food. Jobs. We saw for ourselves that in the face of the economic crisis, businesses shut down, people lost their jobs, and even our OFW program was imperative. There is a need for us to assist local industries to create jobs, and these local industries will most likely be in food processing. It's another issue, but I will defer that to my party mate, Dr. Mendita Padilla, later on, because he's an expert in that. My dear friends, food is something that we could produce in this country, but our problem is we have relegated agriculture to number 9 in our budget allocation. If and when blessed with the opportunity of serving the Senate of this Republic, that is the first advocacy that I will carry. Reform the budgeting process so that agriculture will get its fair share from the national budget.
Thank you, Secretary Kimal. And next to tell us the most pressing issue in the country that the Senate should address is Commissioner Greco Bellica.
Ako po si Greco Bellica nagpatanggal ng port barrel at DAP sa Supreme Court at ang namuno sa Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, ang opisina itinatag ng Pangulo para pangunahan ang kanyang kampanya laban sa korupsyon. Ang problema po ng ating bayan na haharapin ay trabaho, healthcare at edukasyon. Dahil sa pandemya, marami ang nawalan ng trabaho at kapasidad buhayin, pagbayaran ng ospital, buhayin ng kanilang sarili. Kung ako po, ang pag-aabyan ng Panginoong Diyos na maglingkod bilang isa sa inyong mga senador, itatatag ko po dito sa ating bansa ang Philippine Venture Capital Funds Office at palalagyan ko po yan ng 100 bilyong piso para ang mga negosyong nagsara ay makapagbukas muli at magkaroon ng access sa kapital para bumalik po ang trabaho. Pangalawa, lalabanan ko po todo ang korupsyon dahil ayon sa Ombudsman, 20% po ng budget mapupunta lamang sa korupsyon. That is 1 trillion pesos for this year. Kung ating po malalabanan yan and bring it down to the barest minimum, meron tayong pondo para pambigay sa edukasyon, sa trabaho, ayuda, at lahat ng tulong na kailangan ng Pilipino para makaahon tayo dito sa pandemya.
Thank you, Mr. Bellica. Next we have Secretary Salvador Panelo.
Marami po mga bagay-bagay na napakalaga na dapat pagtuunan ng pansin ng ating bansa. Ekonomiya, kahirapan, edukasyon, at kung ano-ano pang bagay na kailangan tugunan dahil ito'y kailangan ng bayan. Subalit, ito pong isang kalakalan na nakalimutan ng lahat ng pamalang ng lahat. At ito po ay tungkol sa children with special needs. Alam po ba ninyo na 5 milyon at 100,000 ang mga anak na may kapansanan sa kanilang kapanganakan? Ako po ay merong anak ng Down syndrome at naranasan ko lang ni Dr. Panelo kung gano'n napakahirap mag-alaga ng isang special child. Napakamahal po ng pag-aaral para ka nagpaparal ng medisina. Napakamahal ng therapy. Kinakailangan panawalan na ang gobyerno ay obligahin po natin na bigyan ng special education, special therapy at lagyan ng mga caring facilities sa buong bansa na merong mga special children. Ang mga special children po ay mga multing anghel. They're little angels. They've been sent to us by God so we can have the opportunity to show our humanity to them. Ang mga special children, paano po natin sa titingnan, ito magiging salamin kung anong uri ang lipunan natin at kung anong uri tayong mga tao.
Thank you, Secretary Panelo. Up next we have Deputy Speaker Rodante Marcoleta.
Our economy is severely beaten. Yes, as a matter of fact, it was beaten blue. Ang ating pong priority is to grow our economy. Kapag hindi po natin napausbong at napasigla ang ating ekonomiya, kahit ano po ang gawin natin, hindi natin mabibigyan ng pondo lahat ng iniisip natin para sa ating OFW, para sa ating mga farmers, para sa ating mga eskwelahan. Importante po na makalibong tayo ng maraming revenues para ma-expand ang ating taxes at ma-reduce naman po yung ating deficit. Ito lamang po ang paraan. Kapag hindi natin napausbong at yumapong na ekonomiya natin, mahihirapan po tayo bumangon sa pagtatalagang nalugmok po ang ating ekonomiya. Tama po yung projection ngayon na kailangan tayo lumago between 7 to 9% ng ating GDP. Yun lamang po ang paraan. At bukod pa dyan, ay kailangan mailatag natin ang marami pa pong mga programa katulad ng sinasabi namin na ang presyo po ng kuryente kailangan maibabanan natin sa bansa ito. Sino po ba nang may gusto sa inyo na pati yung ninakaw na kuryente tayo pa yung magbabayad? Ito lamang po ang negosyo na wala pong kalugi-lugi. Pati po yung sumisigaw ng kuryente mula sa kanilang mga kawat, tayo pa rin ang nagbabayad. At hindi rin natin tatanggapin na ang mga anak natin
education, business, and now what is considered the right and access to information. Accurate, complete, timely information. It needs a serious response. The globe is suffering from economic problems, social problems, security problems, political problems, environmental problems. It needs a serious people and serious leaders elected and appointed. We are managing the only critical variable, which is time. And we are doing this in terms of our most precious strategic and renewable resource, our next generation of citizens and leaders, our children. And for this, we need political unity, social cohesion, and this must lead to economic prosperity and effective crisis management and serious development. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Manasan. And the next one to tell us opening statements is Senator J.B. Emerson.
Lately, we are in the midst of a pandemic, and first things first, we have to survive this pandemic. It's not over yet. The Universal Healthcare Act, which I personally sponsored, I think would be very, very helpful, especially this pandemic exacerbated or exposed the weaknesses of our healthcare system. Our inadequate health facilities, our problems with healthcare workers, are bringing a problem with kid health. I, as a bystander and a private individual, just looking, I told myself, if the Universal Healthcare Act was given importance and priority, I know for a fact that all of these problems that are arising right now will be given importance and will be solved by the Universal Healthcare Act. And probably that's one of the reasons that made me decide. Although admittedly this will be an uphill battle for me, but I have a mission and obligation that is to complete the Universal Healthcare Act and see to it that it is implemented properly and it will be felt by people, especially in this time of pandemic. Second, after we survive this pandemic, we have to look at our economy. We have to fast track infrastructure development because this will provide immediately jobs. And likewise, after we have completed the major infrastructure developments, the railway system, modern airports, it will spread out the development all over the provinces. It will create jobs and opportunities not only in Metro Manila, it will spread out the development in other provinces.
Thank you, Senator Emerson. Mr. Martinez.
Congratulations po. Pwede po ba namin itanong sa inyo, tungkol po sa binanggit niyong PhilHealth. Sa ngayon po kasi, ang coverage lang ng PhilHealth ay naglalaro sa 30% lang. Kahit na po nagkaroon tayo ng malaking tagumpay tungkol sa bagay nito. Pero nanantiling 30% lang ang coverage po nito. Kung sakasakali po, paano ninyo i-cover sapagkat at least 60% po dapat ma-cover ang ating mga mamay ng PhilHealth. Lalo na po yung nasa panig ng moralidad. Kung wala po tayong pera, paano natin gagawin?
Senator Emerson, we will give you 30 seconds and then we have to move on to the rest of the opening statements before we have the rest of the rebuttals.
Well, tama po. No? Ang intention po natin mapababa ang out-of-pocket expense amount sa nasimula po 50%, kung pumasok po ang Universal Healthcare, bumaba po ng 50%. Pero tama po, minsan 30% lamang. Ang initial budget requirement for the implementation of the Universal Healthcare Act was 257 billion and it will progress. Ang problema po, 170 billion lang. Kaya nga po, sa result, as the principal sponsor and author, I would like to oversee to make sure the oversight function to make sure that the budget is allotted for the Universal Healthcare Act's implementation.
Thank you, Senator Emerson. Now we go on with our opening statements from Mr. Jess Aranza.
Ang problema ho natin ngayon ay ang walang katiyakang katapusan ng pandemya, ang malaking utang ng ating bansa na halos 14 trillion pesos at ang deficit na halos 1.6 trillion. Ang kasagutan, pera. Saan mo natin kukunin? Yan ho ay alagaan natin at ibalik ang sigla na tinatawag nating local industries. Sapagat yan lang ang maghuhubog sa ating bansa at dalagdag ng pera sa ating kamamyaman. Pangalawa, ang agrikultura ho, tulungan natin. Sapagat ang agrikultura ay ginudumog ng lahat ng imported na wala na naman nagbabayad ng voice at yan ay kakulangan. Ang smuggling mo ay nanakaw sa ating bansa na halos 250 1.03 trillion pesos. Pag yan ho ay nasawatan natin at napalakas natin, yan ho ay pera kagad na babalik sa atin. At yung iba ay kaya natin sulbarin sa pagdaan ng panahon. Yan po ang dapat natin gawin by Filipino. Stop smuggling. Buhay na ng kultura. Modernize. Nakakawa hanggang ngayon sa katakutan natin sa postal facilities, ang mga magsasaka ay nagbibilan pa rin sa kalsada nasa napuntang pera.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Jess Alanzan. Susunod, si Dr. Mengita Padilla.
Magandang gabi sa inyo lahat. 12 po ang ating plataforma, pero siguro pinaka-importante dito ay tinatawag kong health security, economic recovery, food security, at labanan po ang korupsyon. Kailangan tayo sigurado maglalabas na tayo sa pandemya at magkakaroon ng economic recovery. Magkadugtong mo yung kalusugan at ekonomiya, hindi mo mapagkakahiwalay itong dalawa. Tapos po, PhilHealth reform, overhaul po ng PhilHealth. Kasi alam ko, grabe ang mga sistema problema doon sa loob ng PhilHealth. Corruption, morals, ang IT system, etc. Tapos sa food security, makadugtong yun ho, yung mga magsasaka, mangingisda. Yung climate change na sila, makadugtong mo yun. Pati yung aking sabihin niya, makadugtong sa food security. At lahat po ito, hindi mangyayari, wala tayong magiging, hindi tayo makapag-economic recovery, health security, food security, anti-smuggling, kung hindi natin susupuin ang korupsyon. Pero kung magagawa ko natin itong lahat, isa rin ang gusto kong mangyari. Mabigyan mo ng pag-asa ang ating mga mamamayan, lalo-lalo na ang ating mga kabataan na susunod na henerasyon. Dapat maiwanan sila sa kanilang puso. Ang Pilipino ay hindi likas na magnanakaw, hindi likas na korap. Tayo mabubuting tao. Kailangan natin ng inspirasyon, kailangan natin ng pag-asa. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Dr. Padilla. Susunod ng opening statement ay si Ms. Norma Martina.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ang nakikita ko pong isa sa mga problema ng ating bansa is pagdating sa Muslim community, pagdating sa minority, pagdating sa tribes, nababaliwala po sila. Ang problema po dito, sabi nagsisiksikan sila dito sa national. Pero itong mga minority, itong mga Muslim community, meron po silang lugar, pero inaalisan po sila ng karapatan. Inaalisan po sila ng pribilehiyo. Ito po ang tututukan natin. Yung pribilehiyo na magkaroon po sila ng pantay na sahod po dito sa national, na pantay na pagtingin tulad sa mga batas, kasi lagi pong na babaliwala, lagi pong nadi-discriminate. Kahit hindi po nila kasalanan, ito po ang nagiging kasalanan at nagiging problema ng bansa. Ang sa amin lang po, sana magkaroon ng boses ang Muslim community dito po sa national. Na laging nakakalimutan na sila rin. Na itong mga Muslim community, mga tribes, Pilipino rin. Yan po ang isa sa mga problema ng bansa.
Maraming salamat, Ms. Norma Martina. And now we have heard our senatorial candidates' opening statements. We have some ideas of what their legislative agenda will be like if they get elected to the Senate. And now, don't go away. We will hear their answers and solutions to our nation's concerns when SMNI Senatorial Debate 2022 returns.
Mamaya!
Kakayahan mo magpasang magiging gabay sa mga sekto ng bansa sa iyong pagsimula. Gaano man marami ang ginagawa, marami pa rin hindi nagagawa. Totoo nga, mas madaling mag-reklamo at mas mabilis magtakbo na ibisis sa tinulong at sa suporta. Pero paano kung ang pinipili at pababa ay lalong mas marami ang nagtitiwala? Paano mo ba pagkakahimipin ang mga nakabibigyan sa mga nakakailangang programa ng gobyerno? Paano mo patatahimikin ang mga ordinaryong Pilipino? Mga OFW biglang naramdaman, tunay na pagbabago, at ngayon na naging proud na Pinoy. Paano mo patatahimikin ang iba't ibang leader ng mga kapamilihang na sumasagot sa kanila? Ngunit ang dating US President Donald Trump ay saludo sa war on drugs ng Administrasyon Duterte. Sa kaparehong taon ay sinunod si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte 2017 onward poll bilang 100 most influential people in the world ng Time Magazine. Nakuha ni Pangulong Duterte ang 5% ng total votes ng nakakasama sa iba pang global figures. Sina Russian President Vladimir Putin at Canadian President Justin Trudeau ay pasok sa top 10 na parehong nakakuha na.
Welcome back to the Smni Senatorial Senatorial Debate 2022. Earlier, we heard the opening statements of all our candidates here, and I know there are some questions. We will allow it a little later on, but we have to move on now to our first round. Mahaba po ang ating diskusyon ngayong gabi. So please allow me to call on our first question. Will be coming from Professor Dr. Clarita Carlos. Professor Carlos, your question, please.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I was listening to all of you and I was taking down notes like yesterday. And I thought that if all of you were to be elected senator, we would indeed be moving towards a better Philippines. Congratulations.
That's right.
Let me also acknowledge my colleagues here, my friend Ang, and two of my former students, Anna and Rolex. Hanggang na kami dito. All right. I've always felt that your work as senator will be centered on ratification of treaties, international conventions, agreements, and the like. That is the reason why for all the questions that I have asked here, they really are focusing on foreign policy, defense, and security. Here's the question. I think everybody knows that there is an ongoing DND review of the 1952 Mutual Defense Treaty. There are two options: abrogate the Mutual Defense Treaty or amend some parts of it. If you are not for abrogation, then please tell me which parts should be amended.
Thank you, Dr. Carlos. We will hear from you, Astro Pimentel.
I am for the amendment of the Mutual Defense Treaty, simply because there is an important part of our relation with other countries, and we know that there are countries that would like to take power over other countries. And the Mutual Defense Treaty must be protecting also our people. Kinakailangan po na ang defense treaty natin ay nakalaad doon because ang panahon natin ngayon ay matagal na yung mutual defense treaty. Marami na pong nagbago. Right now, our women and children must be protected even through sa ating dito sa ating paggawa ng mga batas at sa ating pag-ratify nito, dahil nangangailangan po tayo na magkaroon ng magandang relasyon sa ibang bansa at hindi din tayo maging agrabyado sa panahon ng seguridad ay maging we will be in the forefront of any war that's going to happen around the world.
Thank you, Mr. Pimentel. Any follow-up? Should we move on to Secretary Piñol?
The Mutual Defense Treaty is just one of the manifestations of the very close relationships between the Philippines and the United States of America. As you all know, the U.S. is our biggest trading partner. So I would favor the retention of the Mutual Defense Treaty. Make some improvements, whatever they may be, but I believe that we should hang on to this treaty because this manifests our strong relationship with our oldest trading partner, the United States of America.
Chairman Belhita.
War is around the corner. So the Philippines must strengthen its military capabilities and its relationship with other countries. The Mutual Defense Treaty must be amended so that America, when Philippines gets attacked or gets into war, can automatically respond to our aid. Ngayon po kasi, the President of the United States will have to get permission from Congress. Mahihirapan po tayo pagka napasok tayo rito ng malalaki mga bayan para basuhin. So as we strengthen our security, we must also amend the Mutual Defense Treaty and cultivate our relationship with our neighboring countries.
Thank you. Next we have Secretary Manelo.
Sabi po pala, kailangan tanggalin muna natin itong Mutual Defense Treaty at pumasok tayo sa bagong tratado. Lagi titingnan po natin ang interes ng ating bansa, ang territorial integrity at ang sovereignty. Hindi maaari na ang katratado natin ay palaging may bentala at tayo ay wala. Kailangan isa-isahin po natin ang provision na magkakaroon ng tunay na proteksyon, hindi lamang sa isa, kundi dapat kaya na tinawag na mutual. Kailangan kung anong panganib sa isa ay magiging panganib din sa katratado nito at gagawa sila ng mga galaw upang maproteksyonan. Hindi ito pwede yung merong panganib dito pero hindi pa rin gumagalaw ang katratado natin. Kailangan talagang i-abrogate mo lang yan. Pumasok sa mga.
Deputy Speaker Marcoleta.
I am for an amendment and to renegotiate the terms of the NDP. Ang tanong po ay, anong i-amend natin kung sakasakali? Yung article 2 po sinasabi, both parties have the obligation to help one another in order for them to achieve the capacity to resist armed attack in the Pacific. Paano po kung yung armed attack ay hindi naman sa Pacific? Halimbawa ngayon po ay sa South China Sea. Palagi ko po, geographically speaking, yung South China Sea, parte po ng Indo-Pacific yun, hindi po siya talaga kumbaga sa Pacific side, which is the western side of the Philippines. So kailangan po natin ayusin. Pagkatapos po, 70 years na nakararaan, pero hindi naman nila tayo tinulungan in order for us to be capacitated to resist an armed attack. Article 3 po sinasabi rin, kailangan palagi silang nag-uusap ng dalawang partido. Whenever they feel that each other is being threatened politically or the independence is somehow being threatened. Hindi rin po nangyayari ito, kaya kailangan natin i-renegotiate po.
Senator Manasan.
The Mutual Defense Treaty is driven by Commonwealth Act No. 1, drafted more than 70 years ago by Major Dwight Eisenhower and William Ord. Hindi ako nahiya sabihin sa inyo na magkasing edad kami ng Commonwealth Act No. 1. And it drives, the consequence is a non-existent national security policy that is anchored on a clear definition of what constitutes our national interest. Let's overhaul the whole thing, renegotiate the whole thing. In the meantime, self-reliance. Let's prepare to defend ourselves in any situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Manasan. Senator Reyes. Go ahead, Dr. Carlos.
For General Halasan. Yesterday, I think Biden talked about installing nuclear warheads in Japan. If we are going to renegotiate our relationship with the United States and the U.S. demands that we also set up similar nuclear warheads, what will your position be?
Unsolicited advice to the US President. Hinay-hinay tayo dito. Let us not start something that we cannot finish to the detriment of the global community. Pag nagpapalyakan kami kayo doon, tumataas yung presyo ng langis dito. Sino nahihirapan? Hindi lang kayo. Kami, the entire global community. Unsolicited advice. Something for us to think, reflect, and pray.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Speaker Marcoleta.
Senator Greg, hindi ba nung kinanyon yung ating mga kinanyon ng tubig, yung ating mga mangingisda? At kinuha naman ng China yung ating Scarborough Shoal. Hindi ba dapat nag-operate na yung Article 3 na kung saan kapag nag-threaten, sabi niya doon, yung ating political independence or even our security, kailangan nag-uusap itong dalawa. Wala akong nakita ang pag-uusap. Ano kaya masasabi mo ron?
Una-una po, hanggang ngayon, kaya binanggit ko kanina, yung national interest, ano ba gigirian natin doon? No? Isda, langis, lupa, tubig, nasa ilalim ng tubig. Let's be very clear about what we are going to fight and die for as a people.
So are we going to die for fish? Well, because I think we're also talking food security. I think Secretary Pino talked about food security as the top of the list. Because it seems to me that that is really what we're fighting for. Not really oil, because we're moving away from oil. General Manasan?
Well, ma'am, yun nga ho hindi malinaw. It may be clear to some of us, but it is not clear to every able-bodied, freedom-loving Filipino. Dapat alam nila ito. Dahil ang nakataya rito, hindi yung survival ng bawat isa sa atin. Ang nakataya rito is survival of the Filipino nation.
Thank you. We have a question from Yusek Pineda.
Ang sabi ni Senator Manasan is that dapat maghinay-hinay ang Amerika. Based on experience, never po naghinay-hinay ang Amerika. Tayo dito sa Pilipinas, maraming eksperyensya ng ating mga kabataan at kababaihan ay nagkakaroon ng masamang eksperyensya when it comes to when it comes to war, and even kahit doon sa Mindanao, lalong-lalo na kami, marami tayong eksperyensya even dito sa mga bases and ng ating mga karatig na bansa at lalong-lalo na sa Amerika.
May I reply?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Wala naman po tayong military bases sa California. Kung patas talaga laban, dapat patas pareho. May bases sila rito. May EDCA. Bakit wala tayo doon sa California? So, hindi ko na kung tama ito.
Salamat, Senator Manasan. Let's move on to Senator J.B. Ejercito.
As the name of the treaty suggests, mutual defense treaty, dapat ito pantay-pantay. Now, we are considered the little brown brothers of the United States. We are one of the staunchest allies. Nagtakanina ko nung una, bakit si Presidente Duterte una, bakit hindi gusto ang Amerika. Pero looking back, looking at the military aid, doon na lang po sa military aid, when we talk about military aid, they gave us 5, 10 million, 50, probably $30 million in military aid. When you look at other countries, hundreds of millions of dollars. And yet we are supposedly the staunchest ally. Pag sinabing Pilipinas, kakampi kagad ng Amerika. Paano po sa West Philippine Sea, probably now that aside from mutual alliance with the United States, we already forged alliances with Australia, Japan, UK, and other Asian countries that have disputes with China. Because if you fight China, they are a superpower. We may have 30 jet fighters, they may have 500. Meron tayong 30 frigates, they may have 800. So it should be a cooperation among the different countries in the same.
We move on to Mr. Jess Aranza.
Mga kong kababayan, sa sinapunan natin debate ngayon, gusto ko i-working. Ngunit, yan ay gusto. Siguro, pag-aralan natin mabuti, sapagkat ang tao, pag kayo nagagalit o masaya o natatakot, dapat huwag mong gawa ng desisyon, sapagkat ang desisyon mo may be a wrong decision. I will make for obligation. However, I would rather that we wait and we study this carefully sapagkat ang pabigla-bigla ho ay nakakatakot. Unang-una, hindi naman ho ako sanay sa mga war o defense na ganyan. Pero sa aking pananaw, iba na rin yung may masasandalan paminsan-minsan. At iba na rin yung sana magaya rin tayo sa ibang tratado na ginawa nila, halimbawa sa Taiwan, na wala na yung sinasabing based on our constitution that when it allows. Yan sila natin. Yun lang mo ang ating masasabi. Salamat po.
Yes, Deputy Speaker Marcoleta.
Bakit po, Ma'am Jess, nung yung pong mga vessels ng China na sinide-swipe yung ating mga mangingisda, kaya sinabi ko, pinukahan ng mga tubig, at pagkatapos ay kinuha yung abortion, nakatakan tayo doon. Bakit hindi kumibo ang ating sinabi? Hindi mag-treaty sapagkat nandun Article 3 na kinakailangan silang magkatulungan sapagkat nakikita na natin na ito'y bumabangga na sa seguridad ng ating bansa kung hindi man political independence.
Kaibigan, hindi ko kung nasa sinado noon eh. Kaya pasensya po. Ngunit, ang sasabihin ko lang, may mga pagkakataon mo, mga kababayan, na hindi urat-urado na emosyon ang ipapalabas natin. Mahirap po yun. Dapat pag-aralan mo. Lahat ng bagay, lalo na yung mga
relasyon natin sa bansa. Pag-aralan kong mabuti sapagkat pag ikaw ay pumasok na, mahirap ka nang lumabas.
Secretary Aranza, just have to follow up. Kayo po ba ay naniniwala dun sa pinromesa na Indo-Pacific Security Umbrella ng Quad?
Pakiulit po, hindi ko na...
Kayo po ba ay naniniwala dun sa Indo-Pacific Security Umbrella na supposedly ay pinapromesa ng Amerika? Is America still a reliable partner? Kasi I think this is where Mr. Marcoleta is going, isn't it?
Well, sa nakikita ko ngayon, sa kasalukuyan nangyari, ay sa tingin ko nga ho, parang pabalat bunga lamang ang pagsasabing tutulong. Kaya masabi ko, kung sakali ba, baka hindi na baka natin ma-adapt din yung katulad ng ginawa sa kontraktado nila sa Taiwan na wala na yung mga pakundangan kung paano basta kung may problema, sumugod ka agad sila at dapat sumabay sila sa depensa. Yun ang po ang aking masasabi.
Okay, we have a question from Mr. Balikan.
Like what I said, we have to prepare ourselves for war and push for peace at the same time among our regional neighbors, that we do not want to get into war, but we have to be prepared for war. Sa ganyan pong banggaan, tayo lahat ng talo kung hindi tayo prepared. So we have to look at this treaty, we have to secure ourselves in our country, and take leadership among the region to talk things out to abrogate war.
Thank you. Let's hear from Dr. Mingita Padilla.
Agree po ako kay Congressman Marcoleta, no, na kailangan talagang amyendahan. We can't abrogate kasi kailangan pa rin natin. What's happening in Ukraine now, wala silang mutual defense treaty, hindi rin member ng NATO o Ukraine, no? Tayo naman, ang kailangan lang natin gawin, iklaro natin, no? Let's make it clear, anong ibig sabihin ng national security, ng national interest. Yung pagbabangga at pagkakanyo ng vapor, yung mga bangka, no? At yung mga sa West Philippine Sea, I think they should have merited something, kahit man lang nagalit sila o nagsalita sila. Hindi naman mag-bomba in China, we cannot do that, no? But we have to amend, and siguro ngayon, mas powerful tayo kasi baka may problema in China, Taiwan, they'll need the Philippines also, strategically. Baka we can demand more from them as far as what they owe us and what they will give us as part of the treaty. Hindi lang yung conditional, but we can tayo unconditional. Certain things we also need for our own strength security.
Okay, Congressman Marcoleta.
Ma'am, hindi ba dapat alisin natin yung phrase na armed attack? Kasi pagka hindi armed attack, kahit kailan hindi mag-operationalize yung mutual defense treaty. Ang gusto kong mangyari, pag may threat lang sa ating security or political independence, mag-operationalize na agad. Katulad ng binigyan tayo, sinabuyan tayo ng tubig, huwag na natin hintayin yung armed attack. Parang may konting panluloko dito, ma'am.
Actually, agree ako doon, hindi kailangan ng armed attack, no? Any attack on our people, alam mo, kinakausap namin yung mga isda dun sa Quezon, sinabi marami lang nawawala na at hindi na nakabalik. And they think talaga, in-attack yung mga tao. Hindi ko kailangan armed, pwede mong bagain, pwede mong whatever, no? So, dapat na mas klaro yun. At hindi natin, dapat hintayin pa magbarilan bago sila kumilos.
Okay, Senator Manasami.
Sandali lang po ito. So, to our audience, no? Just look at the map. Look at where the Philippines is, the map. Ayaw mo ang may hawak ng traffic light. Inlane, sea lane, submarine. We can be the digital, the political, the social, the economic hub, not only of the Asia Pacific, but of the world. Yun ang potential natin. We are blessed not because of, but in spite of lack of policy.
Okay, Secretary Panelo.
Ang po ito sa katanungan ni Professor Carlos Pineda, Secretary Olasan, na ang Amerika ngayon may intensyon na mag-deploy ng nuclear arms weapons doon sa Japan. Ang tanong niya po kanina, kung dito sa ating bansa, ano magiging posisyon? At ang sagot po ni Secretary ay hinahinay lang. Hindi ko lang po paalala sa ating lahat na bawal sa ilalim ng ating saligang batas ang mag-imbak ng nuclear weapons or arms dito sa ating bansa.
And let's go back to Dr. Padilla.
No, sasabihin na ako na sa sinabi ni Secretary Greg, no? Talagang strategic ang Philippines in so many ways. Kaya we can demand more out of the treaty. And hindi lang yun. Yung freedom of navigation is very important for so many people. Hindi nila pababayaan ng West Philippine Sea. So talagang hindi tayo nag-iisa. We can actually enter into treaties with other nations who need freedom of navigation in the West Philippine Sea. Huwag tayo magpapakawawa o magpapaapi. Kasi meron tayong lakas.
Okay, good luck. I'll get back to you, sir. But let's look for Miss Norma Valentina.
Yes. Sa tingin ko naman po, okay lang tayo makipagkaibigan sa kanila, pero hanggang doon lang po muna. Dahil kung hindi naman po yan concern sa Pilipinas, kung hindi naman po yung mga away or gulo na related po sa Philippines, siguro pagtibayin na lang po natin yung lakas po natin. Kasi pag ang nangyayari po is etong mutual defense treaty, pag sinabi ng isang bansa na eto ka-allies ka namin, ibig sabihin kahit hindi wala nadadamay tayo. So pagdating sa natin sa gas natin, sa pagkain natin, tumataas kasi nga nakikita ng ibang bansa na marami po silang kalaban. So mas maganda siguro dahil kami sa Mindanao, ibabalik po sa Mindanao. Marami po nagkaroon din po kami ng gera. Siguro ito na lang pagtunan natin ng pansin, yung mismo sa Pilipinas.
Okay, let's hear from Secretary Galuga.
Yeah, as we talk to our neighboring countries, we first must prepare because danger is imminent. The threat is already present. Then we push for peace. If the constitution and the laws need to be changed, then we must change it. Dahil wala mong ganitong threat. Yung ginawa ng constitution.
Okay, we will have,
Daphne?
yes.
Like,
Okay, to
I suppose, go ahead.
question to Mr. Relica. You've said earlier that, we have to prepare for war, and at the same time, you have to push for peace. And you mentioned as well that there's such a thing as a threat. Now, my question is, how would you prepare for war, and what's the threat that you're trying to say?
it's based on the question of the doctor and then
But the question of Dr. Carlos is all about the U.S. trying to deploy nuclear warheads in Japan. Is it a threat already to the Philippines?
yes, the threat is already there because you're deploying the warheads, nuclear warheads in countries beside us. And a war can just, happen anytime. So we have to prepare. It's better to prepare than to be caught surprise.
How would you do it? Yeah, but you
Is that something that can be prevented? As a matter of fact,
it's not only in Japan that U.S. wants to
deploy nuclear warheads.
even South Korea want to do that. So
Yeah, the thing is, ma'am, hindi naman tayo pakikinggan if we're negotiating in a weak position. As I said, let us negotiate for peace, let us take leadership in the region, bring them on in the negotiating table, but make sure that we have something that they will listen to. And without this equipment and without being prepared, hindi ko tayo pakikinggan.
okay, I see you, Mr. Miguel and Mr. Armanza and Dr. Padilla, but let's first hear from Mr. Ding Diaz. You have 1 minute.
We cannot abrogate for the simple reason that it will not be allowed. It will not be allowed by our neighbors, it will not be allowed by our allies, it will not be allowed by the United States of America. Nasabi po ni Senador Gringo Honasan na ang Pilipinas po is strategically located. Ito po ang pinakayaman po natin dito. Sa kabila po, abundance ng mga likas na yaman pa po na meron po tayo. Now, kung ako po ang tatanungin, we don't need an amendment to the Mutual Defense Treaty. What we need is a complete overhaul so that it will be attuned to the times since that particular treaty served the needs of the Philippines and the United States 70 years ago. A lot has changed. A lot has changed now, and we have to have a lot of overhauling to do.
Before we continue with the rebuttals, we have a follow-up question, sir.
Yes, I'm sorry. Okay, address to Mr. Ding Diaz.
Yes, sir.
Walang pakialam. Ang kapitbahay natin kung anong gagawin natin dito sa Pilipinas. The conduct of foreign relations is exclusively
President,
Totoo po yun.
to a certain extent, to the Senate, on the ratification of treaties that is found in Section 4, Article 18 of the transitory provisions of the 1987 Constitution. I'm sorry, sir. I don't want this country to just follow another country around us. We are a sovereign country.
You are very correct. You are very correct, Mr. Suplicot. Unfortunately, a lot of things that are happening internationally happens because of maneuverings, not directly, but indirectly by the superpowers. Now, what I'm trying to emphasize here is this. America needs the Philippines. So let us maximize on this. If they really need us, we have to get something really good.
What if we don't need America?
Madam, at this point,
Yeah.
Madam, at this point, if we don't need America, then the professor said then it's not going to be mutual. But what I'm telling you here is this. We cannot say that we don't need America because China is a friend or Russia is a friend or other countries are friends. I believe that we have a long way to go. What we should focus on, that is the point, we should build ourselves really strongly, not just militarily, but more importantly, economically and diplomatically.
Okay, let's hear from USEC Pimentel, Mr. Aranza, and Dr. Padilla in that order.
In relation to the preparation of the Philippines, kailangan maamendahan ang defense treaty na ito to include technology. Because dito sa ating nakikita natin na ang Amerika, despite having a relationship with us, laging tira-tira ang binibigay. They should give us priority also in terms of technology dahil kahit ngayon wala tayong sariling satellite, wala tayong sariling eye of the sky, habang sila ay napakaraming technology ang ginagamit.
Comment lang po ito.
Mr. Aranza.
Comment lang po ito. Sa akin nabasa yung ang Estados Unidos ay mayroong tratado na 69 countries. Ito kaya 69 countries na composed of 75% of goods and composed of about 2 billion inhabitants. Ito kaya ay na-review ng ating mga foreign affairs para makita lang kung ano kaya ang mga experience nitong mga bansa nito. Ano, pag nakaupo tayo doon talagang pagsusunog ang Pilipina yan.
Dr. Padilla.
Ilalagay ko lang sa context to, no? Kasi yung nangyayari sa Ukraine, di ba? Invaded by Russia. Everybody was saying, hindi gagawin ni Putin yan, hindi siya sirang gulo. Pero ginawa niya, unprovoked. Ngayon, sa North Korea, he keeps testing nuclear warheads. Hindi gagawin yan. Pero who knows? I think that's the reason why America is putting nuclear warheads in Japan and South Korea. Ngayon, we have to demand more in the treaty. And treat us like an ally, more like an ally than a little brown brother. So we can also defend ourselves and help more.
Follow-up question for Dr. Padilla about the Ukraine crisis that you mentioned. You've said that Putin attacked or had a military intervention in Ukraine unprovoked. Do you really think it's unprovoked if what is happening right now and the action of Putin, given that, Ukraine is being persuaded or to a certain extent influenced by the West in joining NATO. And if you look at it, NATO is a military alliance. So if Ukraine will be part of NATO, to a greater extent, there's a possibility that nuclear warheads will be in Ukraine. Do you really think it's unprovoked, given that it's a border country between Ukraine and Russia?
Okay, I believe that Russia really attacked Ukraine because they were afraid that they were going to join NATO. Because pag sumali ang Ukraine sa NATO, lahat ng former USSR NATO na. Okay? And it's the closest to Russia, and they can definitely attack them. But it was not provoked by an attack. It was not provoked by an attack. That's different.
So do you think Russia doesn't have any right to defend its national security, given that it's being threatened by the very fact that there's a possibility that will be military bases in there and also nuclear weapons in Ukraine. If in any case it will be part of NATO. Do you think so?
I don't think they have the right to attack the way they're doing. Because Ukraine also has a right to put whatever they want there in order to protect themselves from attack by Russia. That's none of the business of Putin. It's a different country already. If they had started attacking him, if they had started doing other attacks, for example, cyber attacks, a little bit of weapons, then maybe yes, it would have been provoked. But it is the right of Ukraine, self-determination.
Thank you. Okay, we have, before we have a follow-up question from Mr. Ang, we will hear from Secretary Pinal.
May I just share my thoughts on this conversation about war, about nuclear warheads. While foreign policy, I understand, is an exclusive domain of the president. If I were a member of the Senate, I would, as an expression of the sentiment of the Senate, join the voices against the fielding of these nuclear warheads. We don't. War is not easy. It's painful. I know, because I was born in a war-affected province, and I know the difficulties, the pain, and the anguish of war.
Thank you. Follow-up question, Daniel.
Thank you, Daphne. I wasn't going to ask, because I always defer to Professor Carlos with regards to foreign policy. But, well, first of all, I'd like to remind my co-panelists that Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons when it exited from the Soviet Union. But the question is this, foreign policy is anchored on national interest. In my humble opinion, our national interest is to preserve peace. You guys mentioned education, economy, tourism, smuggling, all sorts of issues which I think are conditional on the preservation of peace. Now, my question is, do you agree that our national interest is to preserve peace? And if you do or you do not, could you please state what you think is our national interest?
Raise your hand, anyone. Okay, go ahead now.
Preservation of peace is very important, especially for us women, because we are the ones who care for our children, those who are less fortunate, and even those who are most vulnerable in times of war. And in that is why President Duterte's policy is always friend to all and to one.
Okay, Mr. Diaz.
Who does not want peace? Everybody wants to live in peace. But together with peace, there must also economic stability. Then, if we have economic stability, we have a supportive government, we have a cooperative people, it's not just peace, it's going to be prosperity.
Okay, Secretary Hanigan.
Yes, in order to have peace, we have to remember that we have to let the enemies know that we're ready for war at any time. Yan po ang sinabi ni President George Washington sa mga kabataang sundalo nung siya po ay bababa na sa pwesto. We have to let the enemies know and prepare for war to push for peace. We want peace, that's why we prepare for war.
Okay, a rebuttal from Secretary Hanigan.
This is in response to the question of Clint. Yes, peace should be our national goal. And I can say that with certainty because of what happened to us in Mindanao. For over 60 decades, we were torn in brutal war. We were underdeveloped. But now that the president has signed a peace agreement with the More Islamic Liberation Front, things are turning out right for us. And we're turning out better now. We're producing more. So I believe that the key to our progress and prosperity as a nation is peace, not only in Mindanao, but all over the country.
Senator Hernandez.
We cannot give the answer to the question. We cannot give what we cannot have. Our immediate national interest, to my mind, is to unite as a people, fix our backyard, and promote Article 3 of the Constitution. Protect life, liberty, and property. Any possible happiness. What use is life, liberty, and property if we are not happy? That constitutes our immediate national interest.
Okay, Senator J.
To talk about this, we have to prioritize peace in the country, especially in Mindanao. There has been this insurgency to the east, and there's rebellion in the west. The root cause is poverty. That is why I am really supportive of the infrastructure development of the president. I think with massive infrastructure development, it will spread out the development towards the different provinces in Mindanao, and that will provide jobs opportunities because for us we will be creating growth development areas. When there's already food, there's jobs opportunities. All the rebellion and the insurgency will slowly allow.
Thank you. Let's hear from Ms. Noor Mahalgyo. Yes po. Yung peace na tinatawag dito sa, sa Mindanao, actually, kung pagbibigyan nga po ng trabaho, kasi laging pag sinasabing Mindanao, laging may terorismo, laging gano'n, ang nila sa tao. Pero kung tutusin, pag binigyan niyo po ng opportunity yan, syempre magkakaroon ng peace. Tapos ibigay po sa kanila yung lupang para sa kanila talaga. Pagyamanin po nila ang kultura at the same time po yung lupa nila. Yusuf Pimentel and Dr. Kadim. In addition to our aim for peace, dapat kailangan malaman natin na importante para sa atin sa Pilipinas ang peace of other nations because there are Filipinos in all of the nations that we have. Ang ating mga OFW, ang ating mga OF ay nandun. And if there is war in any of those countries, they will be affected. Okay, we have 30 seconds. Dr. Padilla?
Peace is an aspiration of everyone, but I agree that we need to have economic stability to have peace. You give economic stability, social services, education, hospitalization. The MPs come out to the mountains and they join the people. Economic stability, economic progress. But I also agree with Mr. Berica. Sometimes you need to negotiate from a point of strength in order to have peace.
Okay, Secretary Panelo first, and then Secretary.
Peace in any country can only be secured by securing the internal threats as well as the external threats. Lalo sa internal, ay kailangan tingnan natin kung paano natin susukuyin yung parang sa loob. At pagdating naman sa labas, ay kailangan palakasin natin ang ating bansa upang tayo ay handa sa anumang parang at tension.
Mr. Pino,
Ang kapayapaan po ay nagsisimula sa isang pusok na tiyan. And so when we have been talking about the abstract word peace, may I ask everybody to focus on food. Food security, because without food, we will not have peace. Without food, our people will go hungry, they could rebel against government. And so food security is the most important issue that I believe we should discuss in this forum today.
okay, we are just in round one. We have a follow-up question on the final follow-up. Anyone can answer, Daphne. Do you think the U.S. is still a reliable defense ally? Let's go this way. Go ahead, sir.
As long as it,
Yeah.
they will always be reliable as long as it will suit their better interests. So in any situation, if it does not suit their interest, they will find a way to get out of it. But if it will suit their interest, they will do everything to be in it. Okay? So what I'm trying to say here, let's build ourselves strongly so that America will always feel that they need us.
Okay. Go ahead, ma'am. America's reliability as a partner depends also on the leaders that we have in the Philippines. Because if we have competent leaders that leads our people and is able to talk to them and have the great respect of these people, then they will give us what we deserve. Okay, so
Reliability as a partner may be in question. The mere fact that America as a partner could be an effective deterrent in the same thing.
go ahead.
But we have to be open to all of this other state. We have to be talking to everyone because we are not at war with anyone, but we can be in the middle of any war. America being reliable to the Philippines, tingnan natin kung anong gagawin nila. But we cannot stop. We cannot base our decision on what they will do. We have to pursue the interests of the Philippines. That is what we say.
Thank you, Secretary Panelo.
Yung pong pag-ibigay natin ng sagot sa ano na yun, depende po yan sa interest tayo ng bawat bansa. Pag ang interest ay makakabuti sa kanila, eh magiging talaga kaibigan natin. Nakita po natin, marami ng karanasan na ang Amerika ay hindi natin inaasahan sa mga ibang mga pagkakataon. pabor sa kanila. Kaya yun ang katotohanan dyan.
Deputy Speaker Marcoleta.
Hindi na po reliable sa akin ng Amerika dahil sa maraming mga pangyayari. Dito lamang sa panig ng ating mundo, nungkunin ng China ang Scarborough Shoal, hindi sa kumibot. Noong sa kasaan yung ating mga pangisda, di man lang tayo tinulungan, di man lang tayo nilingon. Nung binomba tayo ng tubig yung ating mga mangisda, ganun din. Napansin din natin sa bansang Vietnam, iniwanan din naman ng Vietnam. At saka yung bansa sa Africa, sa Middle East.
Okay.
So hindi kasi reliable para sa akin.
Maraming salamat, Senator Manasa.
I don't think America countries are so strong as before. The internal problems in America is
Sorry, sir. Let's just go down the line. Senator Manasa first, and then Albert.
you called me a sick. That's what I said. Reliable mo ba ng kaibigan news? Kasi inventaryo din natin ang lahat ng security, bilateral, multilateral security, and economic arrangements in the U.S. And let's look at the performance of it. Baka naman reliable tayo sa Manila, pero sila ay hindi reliable para sa atin.
Senator J.K. Ejercito.
As I mentioned earlier, we're considered labor mothers, but I think we have a leadership that if ever there'll be a new mutual friends, it will not be ex-partners. Nabanggit ko kanina, pag nagbigay po sila ng military aid sa akin, mga junk, mura lang, a few $1 million. Kung para po sa ibang bansa na hundreds of millions of dollars, dapat ganito po ang pagtrato nila sa ating bansa. We have also to equip us